recording. There we go. Okay, so I'm Johnny Gray, and I'm here with Marie White, who is I guess the author and the artist behind the Maryel Tarot. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Marie White. I made the Maryel Tarot. I did the paintings and the book, continue to work on it. I'm an artist. I live in Holly Springs, North Carolina, originally from California. That's about it. I have 3 kids.
Okay, so why the name Maryel, and why Landscapes of the Abyss?
Maryel was because I took it from my name, Marie,
Mm-hmm.
and then L was supposed to be for God, because I wanted it to be like a
Mm-hmm.
co-creation between the two. So that's why I wanted to get the male and female aspects in it.
Cool. And Landscapes of the Abyss, that.
That was because the way I was seeing it is the abyss being like the subconscious or the collective unconscious. And so it was things that are found there. That's why I named it that.
Oh. Yeah, I know like names like Daniel, Samuel,
Mm-hmm.
Michael, the L,
Mm-hmm.
L, it's always of God. It's always
Right.
interesting to see how that's used.
Yeah.
Some places you like Beth El Temple or Temple Beth El, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into the deck, you took about 10 years to create the deck, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
And it was all done in oil?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Having worked in oil, that's a complicated medium. It really is.
I love it. That's my favorite.
I like watercolor. It's easier to
Oh,
clean. Yeah.
see, that's like the opposite end of the spectrum.
No, it is. It is. So
Yeah.
when the deck was complete, what did you take away from the process of creating this really huge project?
Um, a lot. A lot. I mean, it was like the whole thing was like a meditation on, to me, the mysteries of the universe kind of a thing. So I learned so much. It wasn't just a tarot deck. It was like an outline or a guide to, some deeper truths. So yeah, I mean, really just changed the way that I thought about a lot of things, and I learned a lot from it.
The book has a bunch of references. Did you do a lot of research when you were working on the whole project?
Oh yeah, always.
Mhm.
Hmm. Every card I would probably spend a month or two just, yeah, just researching that particular card, plus uh, the numerology, just
Mhm.
all the symbolism in it. Um, and then continued to throughout, and continue to like backtrack and re-examine things. So yeah, definitely just not just tarot stuff, but different philosophies and religion and mysticism and just all kind of, just everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah, the deck is very eclectic as far as where
Yeah.
it pulls from, and you really get that feeling. Um, a lot of people in the tarot community adore this deck, I think, because the imagery is just, it's wow, it's just there. I think it's really, I guess you didn't hold back. I mean,
No. Mm-mm.
this deck is it, it, it it's a lot to tackle. The images are just really amazing, and the book that goes with it explains a lot of the stuff when you were putting the cards together. Um, I really, I mean, it's really evident just looking through the deck, and I think so many people adore this deck, and it's so useful too. It's
Thank
very
you.
useful. Um, so, what card or cards did you have the most fun with, or the most, maybe not fun, but you really were drawn to creating them and really fleshing them out?
I knew you were going to ask that. And I've got like 6 cards I narrowed it down to
Oh, okay.
for different reasons. Like I have the 5 of Swords. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
That for just technically painting, I just love doing that one. It was a really detailed. I mean, I did every little thing. It took a long time to go through and detail the whole thing. Actually, the 5 of Discs too, which was like a companion card to it. Same thing. It was just took a long time, a lot of detail, a lot of just sitting there, like meditating, doing these tiny little brush strokes and stuff. And I felt really like I was really in control of what I was doing, or artistically. And I also felt they were the most reflective of myself and the number and just everything. So those 2 are probably my favorite. But then there was a couple others like the 8 of Swords, which is that one. I like the symbolism a lot. Had a lot of fun painting that one. There's a little magician in there, and the 8's a lot. So that the 8 of Discs. Whoops.
Yeah, that actually in my pile of cards. Yeah, this I was showing this to someone who knew nothing about your deck today, and she's like, "I love that card." And I said, "Well, it's the one that's used on the box. It is
Yeah.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
the image of the lamb with these. The red dragon reminded me of the beast in Revelation.
Yeah.
It
Oh yeah. It's still like I still learn from this card all
yeah.
the time. I see something or read something, I'm like, that's what it is. And I just have I love that card. I love the symbol. It's not my symbolism. I mean, it's a very archetypal, I think. So yeah, I mean, a lot of this, I wasn't trying to make up stuff. I was trying to find the truth, that underlied it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I like this one too, the 7 of Swords. That was one of my favorites to do. Let's see. The 8 of Wands. That one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that it came out as well in print, but the original painting, when I painted it, I just love the colors so much in it. So yeah, those are probably, though, I don't know. I always pull out cards and I'm like, that's my favorite. Or when I was selling the paintings, I'm like, that's my favorite. I don't want to let it go. But
Yeah, as I've gone through the deck and used the deck, different cards will kind of talk to me, and I'll pull one out, and I'm like, I overlooked this one, or where did this one come from? I don't remember this one, and they're always popping out. I thought I'd share some of my favorites. The Magician, of course.
Oh.
I love this one. It's just everything. It's just a really cool. I like that there's no face, that you kind of see almost yourself in the reflection of it.
Yeah.
This one, the Devil, really reminded me of Geiger, and I love Geiger's artwork. The guy who did the Alien stuff.
That one probably was highly influenced. That's one of the first cards I did. That was like the third card I painted.
It's also the Devil card. It looks very Egyptian and feminine.
Yeah.
But yeah, very kind of cosmic feel. The Ace of Discs, I love this one. It's a great card. The Minotaur, but also the sort of hermaphroditic labyrinth creature that's there.
I remember when early in the process, I put out a majors and just the aces deck, like a limited thing. I hadn't done any of the other cards yet. And I got so many comments. So many people were like, oh my God, that's not what aces look like. And how can this be the aces? And people were just kind of horrified. I'm like, well, there we go. There it is.
I love this.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really neat over the years seeing some of the stuff be accepted where it really wasn't when I first put it out, or I didn't feel like it was anyway.
The Ten of Cups. This reminds me of the artist Munch.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does. Like his some of his paintings, and of course, the Scream is the big one, but there's other ones like there's, I think, Death Comforting a Child. I think that's the one that this one reminded me of. But the horse on this is amazing. This red, fiery horse is wow. It's very dynamic. You can feel the movement.
Thank you.
And the same thing with this one, the 10 of disc. I love this one. It's the horse is rearing up. It's in the sky. This one is really great. Um, so some of the cards from there's the second edition of the deck is out. Four of the cards changed.
Hmm.
Um, and well, I think why did they change? They like went completely different.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the things I really want to do, since when I first finished it,
Hmm.
I wrote the book like immediately after, right? I signed with the publisher and I had to write the book.
Hmm.
But I really hadn't worked with it as a full deck yet. A couple months maybe as a full deck. So over time, I've come up with, just using it and stuff with different things. So I really wanted to update the book and put in some new keywords and stuff and just, make it more usable. Um, but in order to do that, I had to change a substantial amount to make another edition to make them so they would do it. So yeah, so I did some of the cards like, well, this is an opportunity to change some of the things that bothered me about the original one. So um, the High Priestess,
Hmm.
I know a lot of people like the old one, but I love the new one.
Okay.
So it was a lot of stuff I wanted to have in it. Um, the Three of Swords, I always felt like it was off. The one with the dove, yeah, I felt like it was just off. When I got it in readings, it didn't meet. When I got it in readings, I would think of the traditional Three of Swords,
Mhm.
and I know the deck isn't traditional, but I thought the traditional Three of Swords went back to the Sola Busca deck. I mean, it's a really old symbol in the tarot decks, and it just seemed important to me to put that in. So,
Hmm.
I went ahead and did that. I connected with that, and I didn't connect with the first one.
Hmm.
Judgment, I'm still not happy with that. So I tried to do it. I still kind of think it landed flat. I don't know what I'm ever going to do with that, but there's that. And then what was the other one I did? Oh,
Um,
the Hierophant.
yeah.
The Hierophant, I redid that one because I felt like I had I had put in some personal feeling, and that's always been a hard card for me. Um, that I've struggled with
Hmm.
just throughout. Not so much knowing what it means, but it's just been an intense card for me. So I felt like I had a lot of personal bias in the original.
It is a very intense card with the woman clutching these
Yeah,
two emaciated children to
yeah,
her.
and I still like it, but I feel like it was too tilted. You
Hmm.
know, I don't feel the same way. I think that card's really connected to religion and stuff like that. And I don't feel the same way now as I did then. I don't feel as negative. I think I really felt negative about religion when I did that painting.
Hmm.
And I don't feel that I feel that way now. And I wanted it to reflect more um, about the mysteriousness of it than just the negativity of it. So, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think a lot of people were kind of when the second edition came out, they were a little like, "Whoa, there's some
yeah,
changes here."
yeah.
Um, the borders disappeared,
Hmm.
which some people in the tarot world had actually cut off the borders of
Yeah.
the original set and loved it. I think, you know, I could, I don't mind borders, you know. I like the size of the card, that's important. But
Hmm.
borders, you know, as long as they don't distract. Some tarot decks have crazy borders that are just
Yeah.
really fancy and just
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm happy with it. I mean, my own deck is, borderless.
did you trim
The one
it?
no, I made, this one here, as I created a card, I printed out and laminated a card.
Oh, wow.
So I've had this since I started doing the deck. Originally, I had fake cards, like the
Huh?
10 of discs. It would just be 10 discs.
Uh-huh.
And then as I did a new painting and made a new card, I'd throw out the fake one.
Wow.
So this has been my original all the way, but there's no borders, nothing
Wow.
on it. And I like it like that because when you put them together, the images can flow into each other. And I didn't really want big borders on it. I didn't want black borders originally, and the publisher wanted that. So when they gave me the choice, I said, can we do it borderless? And yeah, I like how the paintings can move through each other because some of them were planned out that way. Some of the lines and things showing up in different places, and they can move better, and the colors move better to me.
Okay.
I can see why people like borders. It holds the title and stuff, but I thought it was neat to get a chance to do that with the new edition. Um, yeah, so I was pretty happy with that.
So the back of the cards, you have the two um, snakes intertwining,
hmm hmm
logos. Um, what made you design that for the back? And
I
like
just
to,
thought it kind of encompassed the whole
okay.
idea of all of it. The two snakes, the two Ouroboros coming
Mhm.
together was like a spiritual and physical, and in between you kind of have us, little kind of made of both.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think this deck overall, one of the main concepts that I kept coming up against was that of balance and balancing of duality.
You sort of mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, anyone that picks up the deck for the first time, what would you want to convey to them? Like, or any thoughts, just in
About
general?
my deck,
Mhm. Yeah.
uh, I think I would want them to know that they have access to all the knowledge themselves. So I hope this deck can help connect them to that knowledge. It lies within them, and it's not something they need to get from somebody else or somewhere else. So I think that's what I'd want them to know.
Um, do you have any favorite tarot decks?
I, since I finished this one, I've only used this one,
Wow.
but um, I think the Rider Waite was brilliant.
Hmm.
It took me a long time to appreciate it, but I really do think it was. I used to use the Marseille and the Thoth
Hmm.
I used. I mean, the class, I'm pretty traditional. I really
Yeah.
like the classics.
Yeah, the classics. It's kind of hard to go wrong with that.
Right. I mean, the clones and all that, after a while, they were like different flavors of donut or something. They just, I wanted the meat of it,
The meaty
of the
deck.
tarot, the meat of the tarot. I mean, I like them. I like seeing all the variety and everything,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It,
I like the traditional
yeah, it seems like
stuff.
there's a big explosion of creativity.
Yeah, which
Some
is great.
It's great. Some decks are better than others. Some are more
Yeah,
fleshed out. Some are
yeah.
really, what I found out the more I've Tarot is some decks are pretty advanced. You might pick it up, but you're like, I can't use this. This is beyond
Mhm,
me. It's going to take me
mhm.
a while to get there. Let me get the
Yeah,
book. Let me read it, read about it. Even then, let me see if I can tackle it. Um, it's some decks can be, meaty. There's a lot. Your deck is meaty. There's a lot to dig into it. It's drawing
I've
from
heard
streams.
I've heard people say that it was advanced or difficult and stuff like that. I can see why that is, but I also hope that I hoped that it was archetypal.
Mm.
These were real symbols and not just made up to put in there. So I think intuitively, you could know them, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, some kind of go off on their own thing, you know, and that's their thing. But yeah, I hoped one of my pet peeves is when people call it an oracle. I'm like, it's not an oracle. I'm like, no, but I have to restrain myself from saying anything. But yeah,
Are you working on anything tarot related or just creative in general? Do you
I
have anything coming out in the future?
I've been working on a book about it for a while. Just um just recording a lot of stuff, a lot of information I have that eventually, I'll put together and put out, I'm sure. As far as more paintings, tarot paintings, I don't think I could do it again.
Mm.
It's like so much work.
Well, 10
It's
years,
so
10
intense.
plus
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's self-inflicted. I could have just, copied the stuff, but yeah, 'cause when you're doing it, it's like you live every one of them. Or I did. My life would reflect it. It's like I mean, maybe your subconscious does it. It's like it really did feel like I was having a conversation with my subconscious,
Mhm.
and I'm like, hey, subconscious, what does this card mean? Or can you ask the collective or whatever? What does this mean? And it would answer back, but it doesn't just answer back. It answers back by illustrating it in my life and my experience, which can get pretty intense with some of these cards.
Yeah.
And then to do one after the other, and I'm like, okay, I get it, and then sit down and paint it. But I mean, I love the process, but it's a lot.
Mhm.
And plus I feel like I got it all out. I mean, there's some stuff I'd like to tweak, and there's stuff that I'm not, I wish I could redo and stuff. And it's almost like a continuing work to me, but I don't feel the need to do another one because this is the one. I
Mhm.
mean, what would I do other than like repainting the one I already did?
Some
So
some tarot creators have put out like supplemental packs of cards,
yeah,
um, even if the initial publisher won't put them out because it's just a rinky-dink thing. They'll go through their own website and put
right.
them out. That's always kind of cool. Um,
I
or
talked about I talked to the publisher about putting a little supplemental thing with the old cards in it,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I want to do that because I wanted them changed for a reason. I don't know if I want to see decks with, two hierophants in it, and so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's still on the table, so we'll
yeah,
see what
one of
happens.
my Toth decks, it has three Magnus cards in it,
Right.
but probably only meant one to be used. The other two are like
Mhm.
types. But I see people using all three of them. Right, it's personal preference, but I kind of like traditional, the way it was meant to be used.
Yeah.
Um, so I usually like to talk about art. So do you have any artists that really influence you or that really you draw from? Like creatively, they inspire you.
Now or when I did the deck?
It
Either.
doesn't. Yeah.
Let's see. I've always been a huge fan of like Francis Bacon
Mm.
and Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can see him in my stuff. Um, oh gosh, Gustav Klimt. I've always been a fan of. There's a lot of lately. I've really been into abstracts and um, some just kind of. I've been kind of drifting into different things. So let's see. I have so many artists I just love. Um, all of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank. There's people like Max Ernst and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just really, I really like surrealists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into that.
Yeah, you know who Leonora Carrington is?
No, I don't think so
She's
off the top of my head. Oh, it
she's
sounds familiar.
yeah, she's a surrealist. She created a majors only deck that is actually coming out later this year, Folger Press. Um, and I didn't know about her until I read about the tarot deck. but
Hmm.
she was sort of a contemporary of um, other surrealists.
Yeah,
But
the
her,
name's familiar.
yeah, she did a lot of. If you, there's the one I've noticed that I've seen mostly is a self-portrait of her painting where her hair is all kind of frizzy and like she's been electrocuted. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, Leonore Carrington, she's interesting person, but her deck is coming out, and she only did the majors only. It's rider weight base, but her artistic take on it looks really neat. I like surrealism. I love Francis Bacon.
Me
Um,
too.
he's it's great. I last year I was at the Guggenheim in New York City, and I saw there was a triptych of his there, um, and it's yeah, just really interesting stuff. Kind of, it's not for everyone. The sides beat
Yeah,
and the distorted figures that are sort of
yeah.
flowing into furniture and just kind of interesting. But um, yeah, of the artists, did you have any that you drew from or that influenced you in the deck?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, no, I think I was pretty much just doing my own thing on it.
And the deck was all done in oil.
Yeah,
How big were the original panels?
they were 7 by 11s. They're only about this big.
And you sold them all?
I have or maybe 8 left, I
Oh
think.
wow,
Yeah, yeah.
that is very cool. That's
Hmm.
neat. That's a lot of work. I mean, that is so much work. I just can't fathom spending that much time on the artwork. Your painting style is amazing. I mean, it's
Thank
just
you.
the colors. When I was showing it this morning to someone that hadn't seen it because I wanted fresh eyes, um, she said these 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 pictures that the colors are just popping off of these. And I said, I think so too. These are, she loved the reds, and her favorite card was this one.
All right.
Because I was showing her the different cards, and I'm like, it's interesting that one just stood out, and that card it's uh it's a really powerful card, 8 of discs. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. So I think those are all the questions um, I had. I talked about the cards and everything.